Rockline, the show where you interview the hottest stars in rock and roll. Hello again, I'm Bob Coburn. Rockline is brought to you in part by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Levi's non-zip, ever-hip, button-fly 501 jeans. Tonight, Rockline is an evening with Geddy Lee of Rush. Geddy is at Q107 in Toronto. I'm in our Hollywood Rockline studio. So get your questions ready and call us toll-free in the U.S. and Canada. 1-800-344-ROCK. That's 1-800-344-7625. One number toll-free from anywhere in North America. A good rock and roll band is a process, gathering and disseminating information, turning seemingly unrelated events into a cohesive, focused statement, creating the music which touches our hearts and our minds. Rush is such a band, and each successive release is cause for celebration, and certainly reason enough for another visit to Rockline as we welcome Geddy Lee. Geddy, good evening. Welcome back.
Hi, nice to be back.
Nice to have you here this evening, or in Toronto, talking with us, I should say. Now, the new CD, Presto, embodies some changes. One of those, Rupert Hine, as producer. How'd he get involved in this project?
Well, Rupert was somebody that we tried to work with a few years ago for the Grace Under Pressure album. And when Peter Collins was unavailable for this record, he was kind of a first choice, a natural kind of choice to see if we could get our schedules together this time. And fortunately, he was available and very interested, and, it all worked out.
Now, I noticed you recorded in Toronto and London. Was that sort of a compromise so you could work in each other's territory there?
Pretty well. We wanted to do everything at home this time, and he acquiesced, and we did 3/4 of the record in our hometown. And then, as part of the bargain, we said we would agree to go over there to mix the record, so he was happy about that.
Now, I heard piano in a couple of songs. Is that Rupert playing piano?
He played on a few tracks. He did some additional keyboards, but also a good friend of ours, Jason Snyderman, did some grand piano playing on this record as well.
Some beautiful keyboard work on there. Now, you've changed record labels. Has your first album for Atlantic been a positive experience for you so far?
Yes, so far, everybody at Atlantic has been very nice, and it's kind of a fresh start for us to be with some new people. We were with the last label for quite a long time, so it's nice to be at a new place, I think.
Could you explain Anthem Atlantic for those of us in the States that see that on the CD, on the record label? Is that a Canadian affiliation, the Anthem part?
Yeah, Anthem is kind of our label here in Canada that we've had for quite a few years now, distributing our records, and there's also a couple of the artists in Canada that are signed to that label.
Now, Neil used the analogy or the symbolism of scissors, paper, and stone with this. Could you explain that as applied to Rush? What did he mean by that?
Well, it's kind of an abstraction. The game, the kid's game, or what you want to call it, that you play with your making a fist and making, your two fingers into scissors and paper, and, paper covers the rock, that whole little game. And it kind of turned into a nursery rhyme that, kind of a thing that we put together as a chant in one of the songs, Hand Over Fist. And I guess there's lots of different analogies you can make with that kind of a thing. What represents the stone in your life? What is the paper, and all those different things. But basically, it was kind of for me anyway, just a rhythmic thing. The whole sound of that chant to me was a very strong rhythmic thing to write music to.
Very strong album this time around from Rush. Presto is the name of it. Time to show, don't tell on Rockline and the Global Satellite Network. The new album by Rush. We're with Geddy Lee. We'll return in just one moment. Your number's toll-free from anywhere in North America. It's an evening with Geddy Lee of Rush. I'm Bob Coburn. We got him lined up to talk to Geddy tonight. Our first call is Ron in Wildwood, New Jersey, a listener of The Beach, 93.5 WZBH in Ocean City, Maryland. Ron, good evening.
Hey, how you doing, Geddy?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. I just gotta say you guys are great, and the new album is excellent.
Thank you very much.
All right. I have two questions. First, since you switched from Polygram to Atlantic Records, I was wondering, was there any added pressure on the band since you did this at all?
Well, I don't think it really came into play very much. Of course, anytime you start a new relationship, you want to put your best foot forward. But, I think that was kind of a minor consideration at the time. We're always have the kind of same attitude every time we go in to make a record, and that's to do the best we possibly can. So I don't think it changed that much on this one.
And what else tonight, Ron?
If any, what song on the new album was the most difficult for you guys to do?
Difficult? I have to think about that for a moment. Oh, I can't really recall any particularly difficult ones. They all came pretty quick, and we worked on them for quite a long time in pre-production. So by the time we got to recording stage, all the bugs were pretty well worked out. So fortunately, they all went pretty smoothly.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Ron, thanks for being on the Rockline with us. Let's move on now to Edmonton and speak with Glenn. He's listening to K97. You're on the Rockline, Glenn.
Geddy, it's been incredible thrill to talk to you. Hi from me and hi from my good friend Anthony Art, another incredible Rush fan. Get right into the question. First of all, a year ago in February, you said, talking to somebody else, that you'd be putting an instrumental onto this album. I found that there wasn't one on there. Could you tell me why? Second question is, up here in Western Canada, you missed us out in the last couple of tours, and I was wondering when you'd be here in Edmonton. Also, Western Canada, I see you twice if you come to Vancouver or Calgary.
Okay, first question first. Yes, we did plan on putting an instrumental an instrumental song on this album, but in the process of putting it together, Neil kept sending us all these lyrics, you see. I mean, he was in the other room, and we were just trying to catch up to the guy, We kept telling him to slow down, slow down. So we were saving all these bits for an instrumental song, and then this one lyric came down the chute, and it really suited what we had going for our instrumental track, so we decided, oh well, to hell with the instrumental, let's use the lyric, and that song turned into Hand Over Fist.
Ah, there you go. And what about touring? Will you have a grand tour of Canada? Basically was his question.
Yeah, we will be in Edmonton. I believe there's a date scheduled for sometime in late March. And so we will be in that part of the country.
Your tour begins sometime in February, is that correct, Geddy?
Yeah, I think around the 15th or 16th of February. All
right, all you Rush fans, there you go. Thanks, Glenn. Let's talk to Laurie now in Pittsburgh. WDVE, our station there. Good evening and welcome.
Hello. Geddy, I really first want to thank you very much for giving us 11 new Rush songs. That's very exciting to me.
Well, thank you.
And my question is, I think maybe you've already answered it, but I understood from the program, from the Hold for Fire tour, that you had some influence on the lyrics. You had a couple suggestions of lyrics for songs on that album. Did you have any influence on the lyrics on this one, or were they all Neil's ideas?
No, mostly Neil's ideas on this one, although, every time we put a song together, there's a lot of discussion back and forth, but, he was hard at work before we sat down together to write this album, and he had a lot of great ideas, and they kept coming, so, mostly his.
Now, you said a moment ago Neil was in the other room working on lyrics. Did you once again go into the country and basically isolate yourselves and concentrate on working on the album?
Yes, we did. There was a studio not far from where we live that we went up Monday to Friday, basically, and started writing. And Neil would work on lyrics, and Alex and I would work on music, and we'd get together in the evenings and try to put them all together. And it was really a pleasant environment, and it was a lot of fun because this time we had about, 4 or 5 months break before we started writing, and we were all kind of itching to go, and it was nice to get away from anything to do with music for that period of time beforehand.
From the latest album, Presto by Rush, Chain Lightning on Rockline. Chain Lightning by Rush from Presto on Rockline on the Global Satellite Network. Our number toll-free, 1-800-344-ROCK. That's the number Donna called from Reseda, California, listener of 95.5 KLOS. Hi, Donna.
Hi, Geddy.
Hi, Donna.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Fine, thanks. My question is, it seems like after every live album, you change your musical direction. And what I was wondering, is this album intended for a more commercial approach?
I wouldn't say so. We kind of don't really know where we're going until after we've gone there. It's kind of the approach we have. And the only thing we decided before we started making this record was that we wanted it to be a bit more directed, a bit more trio-oriented, like some records that we hadn't done in a while. And that's about it. And then we see what comes out. And basically, that's what came out.
It's up to us whether it becomes commercial or not, Donna. Thanks for the call. We appreciate it. It really is. That's really the truth. We're going to talk to Marvin now in Waterford, California. He's listening to 95 KDJK in Modesto. Hi.
Hey, Geddy, how's it going?
Pretty good. How's it going with you?
It's going great. It's great to hear new music from you guys.
Thank you.
My question is, I'm curious to know what's kept you guys together with so little strife for so long?
Gee, I don't know. Lack of imagination. Gee, that's a really hard question to answer. We seem and there's a couple ways of looking at it. I think, number one, we seem to, no matter what we're going through individually as people, when we get back together to write, we seem to want to do the same things musically again and again, which is kind of a surprise every time, but nonetheless, that's what happens. And the other thing is, I think there's something about being in a band and something about our three personalities that, we do an awful lot of laughing together, and I think, we really have a good time a lot of the time. So I think that's something that has to have something to do with it as well.
And you had some time in between this time around, which is unusual for the band, and I would imagine that would kind of let you get in touch with yourself and find out if this is what you really wanted to do or not.
Yeah, sure. And, it's never as free of strife as what people think. I mean, nobody's, perfect. So there are those moments of tension and whatever, but...
Oh, yeah? You got any stories for us?
Well, I remember one time Neil came at me with a butcher knife, but I don't want to get into that right here.
Marvin, thanks for calling. Let's talk to James now, as we head to Evergreen, Colorado. 106.7 KAZY in Denver is our affiliate there. Good evening, James. Welcome to the Rockline.
Hey, Geddy.
How you doing?
All right. Oh, man, this is just like a dream come true. I'm a high school student, and we have a band called Symposium out here in Evergreen in Colorado, and we play progressive rock, and you guys are most definitely our biggest influence. Love your stuff.
Thank you very much.
I got two questions for you. I wanted to know, do you think that maybe in this next decade, progressive rock might make a comeback and be kind of the music for the 90s?
Well, it's such a big question, and I don't think anyone's really capable of seeing what's going to happen in the future. Certainly not with progressive rock. If such a thing is still around, I think it's impossible to say, and I certainly don't feel qualified to make that kind of prophetic statement. But it would be nice to see rock music get a bit more adventurous again, I think. What's your next question?
I wanted to know, did the three of you have much input on the new album?
I'm sorry, I didn't...
What was that, James?
Did you have much input on the new album?
Who have much input?
On the production, I mean.
Oh, on the production. How much did Rupert have control, I guess is the question.
Rupert brought a lot of interesting sort of observations to us in terms of songwriting and arranging and structure. And I think at one point that affected us as we were putting songs together. And in an overview, he was objective and always very calm, cool, and collected. And, he had some good ideas sound-wise. And basically, he was very even-tempered and let the band be when it needed to be. And then when there was problems, he stepped in as any good producer would. So it was a good relationship. We felt like we had a lot of input of our own. And his input was... always pretty succinct and very valuable.
There you go, James. Thanks for being on with us. We'll take a brief time out. We'll come back in just one moment. Coming up in a second, something from the past and also something from the brand new album. Promise you something out of the past by Rush. There are so many great songs to choose from. We try and mix it up with each successive visit that the guys in the band pay us. And so we're going to go back to Permanent Waves for this one. Free Will on Rockline. By Rush, we're with Geddy Lee for the entire program tonight on Rockline. I'm Bob Coburn. Our next call from Baltimore. Tim is on the line, a listener of 98 Rock. And Tim, you're on with Geddy Lee.
Geddy, hi.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
This is greetings from a fellow bass player and incredible fan, and also a couple friends, Nate and Chip. I'll get right to my question. If your previous label wanted to produce like a greatest hits album, would you want to help out with choosing the songs for that, or would you want like nothing to do with it?
Isn't that in fact coming up?
Well, I don't know. There is some talk of it. I mean, those are things that fortunately you don't really have much control over, but I think it's always kind of in your best interest to try to help out and pick the songs and oversee the artwork if you can. I don't know if it's always possible though.
I'm hearing word about an album called Chronicle, which is in fact a greatest hits album. Are you aware of that at this point?
Yeah, there's a rumor about it.
A rumor. Tim, thanks for calling, all right? We're going to talk to Dave now in Asheville, North Carolina, WIMZ-FM in Knoxville, Tennessee is what he's listening to, and you're on the Rockline, Dave.
Hi, how you doing, Geddy?
Good, how are you? Hello?
I'd just like to say hi to a couple friends of mine in New Hampshire, Dave and Phil, who are listening.
Oh, Dave and Phil from New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hi, guys.
First of all, I'd like to thank you a lot for Presto. You guys get better and better every year, and there are bunnies on the cover, which makes it especially great.
Oh, you like the bunnies?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Everybody likes
I was
bunnies.
wondering about the popularity of Tom Sawyer. To me, I don't know, the song kind of packs in all the complexity of like the album Hemispheres. So how do you account for the popularity amongst non-musicians and those who really don't follow the band a lot?
Well, I must say I just can't account for the popularity of it, to be quite honest. That song, I don't think any of us ever really expected it to be as popular as it has become. And I'd say being in the band, it's very hard to judge why. You know, I think we're probably too close to it to see it objectively. So I can't really shed much light on that one.
Public certainly did respond to that song. And Dave, thanks for your call on the Rockline tonight. It's Danny's turn as we head to Calgary. Kick FM 107 is our station there. And Danny, you're on with Geddy.
How you doing, Geddy?
Good, how are you?
Oh, really good. Okay, you did some work in the past there with Doug and Bob McKenzie. How did you enjoy that? And do you figure you'll be doing any more work there with your Canadian background roots there?
With my background roots, eh? Well, it was really fun, to do that work there on that album. And I enjoyed it plenty. But I don't think there's going to be much more in the future. It was fun while it lasted.
While it lasted. There you go, Danny. Thanks for the call. In fact, that whole bit has pretty well fallen by the wayside as the years have gone by, hasn't it? Let's talk to Joanne now as we head to Glendale, California, 95.5 KLOS, our station there. Joanne, good evening and welcome.
Hi, Geddy.
Hi.
Hi, I'd like to say I really enjoy the new album.
Why, thank you.
And my question is, your music has really matured to a further, individualistic level, as well with the lyrics. And in this album especially, they're not as blatant from some, some reading like a John Dos Passos or Nine Round, but they're more personal level, like experience and reflection. And being personal, some of them sound kind of angry, and they're really, a show me, don't tell me point of view. And I'd like to know if there was something specific that made Neil write from a more personal, aggressive me level rather than an outside looking in.
Well, I think it's very hard to describe all the things that make you want to write about the things that you write about. And I know for Neil, he's a person who's driven by what's going on around him and what's going on in the world, and he's constantly traveling and thinking and examining, and he goes through many different things, as we all do. And I think it's hard to say where those thoughts come from. And yes, there are some songs that are angry, and there are some subjects that I think require anger from time to time. And I always think that kind of makes for good rock music anyway. So, it's hard to say where the inspiration comes from any of those songs, and I couldn't really be more specific, seeing as you sort of have to talk to him about that.
Joanne, thanks for the call. Did we have the song Presto first, or was the album called Presto? How did it come about?
Well, actually, the title Presto was one that we came very close to using for the live album, and we decided on a show of hands, and it hung around, and we still liked it a lot, so it was suggested, for this album, and at the same time, Neil was, thinking of a song with the same title.
So you had the album title first, and then Neil came up with the lyrics to create a whole song.
Well, he may have had the idea for the song all along, but I think the title came much before the song.
Presto by Rush on Rockline. Presto by Rush. Geddy Lee, my guest tonight on Rockline, and Bob Coburn. We have Phil on the line in Buffalo, New York. He's a listener of 97 Rock. Good evening, Phil. Here on the Rockline.
How you doing, Geddy?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Okay, I have two quick questions for you.
Okay.
My first question is, over the years, has it become increasingly tougher to come up with new material?
Well, you always think it's going to be tough before you start making a record, and I think every person who writes, whether it's music, books, or whatever, you kind of always live with that fear that you're going to dry up. But once you get into it, and once you start rolling, it just starts coming out. And I think this time in particular, because of the break that we had beforehand, there just seemed to be an abundance of ideas, and it was really a lot of fun working on the songs.
And what else tonight, Phil?
My second question is, when you play in different parts of the world, do you find it necessary to emphasize different parts of your careers to suit your audiences?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. Well, it may be necessary, but we've never done it. So, we always play basically the same show. Sometimes what we'll do is shorten the show a little bit if we're playing an area that isn't as familiar with our material as another area. So sometimes we'll make that a slightly more condensed version of the show. And in some countries, if we're not bringing the entire show with us, we might condense the show for that reason as well. But generally, you hope that people around the world respond to the same things.
In what areas outside North America have you been best received? Europe, Japan, and just...
Well, we're very well received in England. Probably England is the best outside of this country, outside of North America. Probably England, Holland, increasingly in Germany, and we've played a few Scandinavian countries, and we had quite a good time, and a couple of really good shows in Japan a few years back. So, but I'd say outside of North America, England primarily.
Good call, Phil. We'll take a timeout. We'll return with Geddy Lee. It's Rockline on the Global Satellite Network. I'm Bob Coburn. It's an evening with Geddy Lee of Rush. We go to Bloomington, Minnesota for our next call. Listener of 92 KQRS in Minneapolis. His name is Greg. Hi.
Hey, how you doing, Geddy?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Oh, it's just great. I just want to thank you real quick for this opportunity. As to the questions, I was reading an interview with Neil Peart, Modern Drum, and he talked about the new record label Atlantic, so I was wondering what they do differently for Rush than Polygram did.
Well, who knows? We just came out, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
There you go. Greg, thanks for being on with us, and we're going to move now to British Columbia to Kamloops, a listener of K97 in that city, and his name is Howard. Hi.
Hi, Geddy. I have a quick question. It's kind of silly. I heard rumor that your parents are from Czechoslovakia or such, and that your name originally is Gary and something or other, and that your parents couldn't pronounce the name, so they just called you Geddy, and that you kept it. Is that true? I don't know if that's got any validity to it or not.
Well, some of the facts are a little distorted, but it's kind of a story like that, yeah.
Was it your grandmother?
No, it was my mother.
It was your mother, and is she Polish? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not Czech. Polish. She's Polish, and she, instead of calling you Gary, would call you Geddy.
Well, she thought she was saying that. She thought she was saying Gary, but that's not how everyone else heard it, you know.
They were hearing Geddy, yeah.
They thought, is she calling Geddy? No, she's calling me Geddy. It's kind of like the old Maxwell Smart, not the craw, the craw. Right. You know, and it stuck. Kind of like beaver. Yeah.
There you go. So we set the facts straight for you there, Howard. We appreciate your call. Going to talk with Mike now, Wood River, Illinois. He's listening to KC95 in St. Louis. Mike, you're on the Rockline with Geddy.
Hi, how you doing, Geddy?
Pretty good. How are you?
Oh, just great, man. You're the greatest. You're the master. My question is, I would love to learn to play like you do. What's the secret?
Gee, I don't know. Lots of television. Just practice, I guess. Gosh, I don't know what to say to a question like that.
When did you start? How long have you been playing?
I guess I started playing when I was about 14.
Did you start on the bass, or did you start with keyboards, or?
I started playing guitar, and I was in a little garage band, and the bass player quit, and they said, "You play bass," and I said, "Oh, okay." And I thought it was cool because there was 2 less strings than a guitar, so I thought, well, it's got to be easier. So I just kept it up and just hammered away. And I think really the best way to get started is finding a bass player who is, really exciting for you to listen to. And, you try to emulate what he's doing, and then pretty soon you listen to more and more people, and your influences get broader and broader, and then hopefully eventually you get your own kind of style going.
Lots of practice, lots of hard work, and that intangible talent. Somebody once said to me, I can play the notes, but they don't sound good together.
And you have to practice while you're watching television, too. That's very important.
Very important. There you go, Mike. Thanks for calling. Let's talk to Tom now in Springfield, Ohio. Tom, a listener of QFM 96 in Columbus. Hi there.
Hi. Good evening, Geddy. Hi, Geddy.
Hi.
What it is to talk to you. I want to thank you for all the music you've given us. My question is, since the technology has improved so greatly, would it be possible or even probable that a song such as Different Strings or Losing It would ever become part of the live set?
Well, I think it's certainly possible, but a song like Losing It, for example, that has, to me, such a personal solo that Ben Mink, guest artist, played on that record, it would be very difficult for me to think about playing it without having that solo there every night, or at least that person playing it. But I guess you kind of have to change the rules in a live situation. So, yeah, I guess it is possible that those songs could be played and probably slightly altered arrangement-wise.
There you go, Tom. Thanks. How much of the new album do you intend to play live this time around?
Well, it's a bit early to say. I know there's at least 6 tunes that we'd like to get in this show, but I don't really know. We have so many others to go through and see which are going to go and which are going to stay and which older ones we'd like to bring back. So we haven't really officially discussed what songs are going to stay, but or how many from this album we will play. But I'd like to see about 6 of them in there.
Will you wait till after the holidays to begin rehearsal?
Yeah.
Good move. Tom, thanks for calling. Let's play some rock and roll by Rush now. Limelight on Rockline. Geddy Lee, my guest on Rockline tonight. I'm Bob Coburn. Back to the phones we go to Tom in Milwaukee, WQFM, our longtime affiliate there in Milwaukee. And Tom, you're on the show with Geddy Lee.
Hello, it's an honor.
Hi.
My question is 2 questions. If any of Neil's bike trip tours that he took to the Rocky Mountains or Africa, there was a rumor that he was going to be published. I was wondering if he ever was published.
He hasn't been published yet, although there are, I think, a few finished journals that he has written. And I think he sort of feels when he gets one written that he's proud of for the longest period of time, I think that's when he'll decide to go ahead and publish. I wouldn't think that's very far away, to be honest.
I sure hope he is. I really enjoy the way that man can turn a phrase. He is outstanding. Tom, thanks for the call. From one BC to another. This BC is in Roanoke, Virginia. She's listening to Rock 105 in Christiansburg, and she's on the Rockline now. Hi there.
Good morning, Mr. Lee.
Hi.
Hi. I'm actually talking to you. I can die happy now.
Oh.
I just want to say hi real quick to my friend Pat so he won't brutally slay me or something. And my question is this. My friends Mitch and John and I were wondering if the subtitle to the song Anagram off of Presto, of course, has anything to do with the film Blazing Saddles by Mel Brooks.
Ding, 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 ding. You got it. You win. Oh, sorry. Yes, it's true. It's absolutely true.
Now, that's the character that Alex Karras played, the guy that... Didn't he punch out a horse in that?
Well, there's a scene, if you recall the film, where... I can't remember the name of the actor who plays the lead. He dresses up as a candygram delivery man, and he comes and knocks on the door of the saloon and goes, "Candygram for Mongo, candygram for Mongo." And Mongo takes the candygram, of course, explodes in his face, but that's where it comes from.
Hence the subtitle, Anagram for Mongo. Yeah, beautiful. Good call there, BC. Thanks for being on the air.
Well spotted.
Really, excellent. All right, Alex's turn in Boca Raton, Florida. He's a listener of 97 GTR in Miami. Hi.
Hi, Geddy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'd like to compliment you on your success with this album. I think it's one of your best next to Show of Hands. Keep it up.
Thank you.
I have 2 quick questions. What are the 3 of you plan on doing after the Presto tour?
After the Presto tour? God, I have no idea. Escaping somewhere. I have no idea what... that tour is lying ahead of us. It's like a big hill to climb, so I really can't see past it.
It's too far down the line there. What else tonight, Alex?
When you're playing in concert or even on studio, the 3 of you work perfectly. I mean, there are no flaws in your music that I've heard at all. And I just want to know what pulls the 3 of you together. What's your thinking? Because it's like one big brain working when you play.
Well, I don't know. It's, there are flaws, and hopefully that, part of what you do is called craftsmanship, and that craftsmanship means that you can make the flaws as indistinguishable as possible. But, I really can't. It's hard to answer a question like that. The 3 of us just plug away together and hope that we come up with something that works and satisfies us and other people like. And, I don't know what else to say about that one.
It's part of the magic of the band. Alex, thanks for the call. We'll take a time out. We'll return with Geddy Lee of Rush in just one moment. Only one number for the one and only Rockline, 1-800-344-ROCK on the Global Satellite Network. It's an evening with Geddy Lee of Rush. We're talking about the new album Presto and much more. From that album, this is a great song called The Pass on the Global Satellite Network. The Pass by Rush from Presto, their latest CD. I'm Bob Coburn. We're with Geddy Lee. Al is on the line in Winnipeg, Manitoba, listener of City FM. Al, you're on the Rockline.
All right. How you doing, Geddy?
Good. How are you?
I can't complain, man. Just like to say you guys are like the ultimate band, and I've been listening to you guys ever since I can remember. And my question is, you guys, I understand you guys played Winnipeg earlier in your career, and certain things happened, and you guys vowed that you wouldn't play the city again. I was wondering if you could explain, and if the band was willing to let bygones be bygones, and if Winnipeg's included in your tour plans.
Any truth to any of this?
Well, I don't recall any incidents in Winnipeg of that nature, no. And I can't really explain why we haven't been there in the last little while, and you know, your guess is as good as mine if we're going to be there this tour, so we'll just have to see what happens. But I don't think there's any prejudice against the city.
There you go. Set the record straight for you there, Al. Just keep in touch with City FM, and they'll tell you whether they're coming or not. Guarantee you that. We go now to Atlanta, Georgia, as we speak with Jim, a listener of 96 Rock. Jim, you're on the Rockline with Geddy Lee.
Hi, Geddy.
Hi.
Are there any albums that you thought would do well, hit, and vice versa?
I'm sorry, I missed part of that question.
We had a drop out there. Could you repeat that, Jim?
Are there any albums that you thought would do well that didn't, and vice versa?
Well, I thought Caress of Steel would do well, and it didn't, but now I understand why when I hear it. I think it's a difficult thing to gauge how well a record's going to do. I didn't really expect Moving Pictures to do as well as it did, and it did very, very well. I think you get so close to it when you're working on it, when you're writing it. And by the time you're finished with it, I really don't think you know what you've got there. At least I don't. Just far too intimate with the material, and just too close to see. You can't see the forest for the trees, kind of thing. So it's always a bit of surprise what happens one way or the other.
That's what you wanted, Jim, an example of each, and Geddy gave it to you, and thanks for calling. We're going to talk now with Dan in Edmonton. K97, our station there, and Dan, you're on with Geddy.
Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. Congratulations on the album, first of all.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of questions about change on this program. In fact, you guys have put together so many tunes about change. One change I've noticed with Presto is it did addresses ladies more than before with the songs Superconductor and War Paint, and it's almost a precedent. Females have made their way into your music. Have they affected your lives between albums to any extent measure?
Well, I don't think our relationship with women has changed much over the last few years. It's pretty much status quo here. But I think you're right. I think that is a slight change in some of our songs, and I think that's something we discussed a couple of records ago, actually, Neil and I, and how it just sort of turned out that way, that a female point of view or songs describing things about of a more feminine nature were not existent in some of our songs. So I think that's something that's probably lurked around the back of our minds.
Very perceptive call, Dan. Thanks for being on the Rockline. We're going to talk with Mark now in McAllen, Texas. 99X in Brownsville is our affiliate for that area. And Mark, you're on the show.
Good evening, Geddy.
Good evening.
I don't know what to ask for Christmas now. I got it. Get it now.
That was easy.
What's slated for Texas?
What's slated?
Concert-wise, do you mean, Mark?
The concert dates.
Yeah, I can't really tell you. I'm really not very familiar with our tour schedule at all. I know that we are going to be in Texas in the first portion of the tour, so I would assume it's early March. That's all I can tell you.
Surely that wasn't your question, Mark.
Second question quickly is I'd begin to wonder whether Rush would ever sort of semi-retire, and during the Signals album, losing it sort of gave me a hint possibly you may doing that. Any truth to that?
No, losing it, that was a false impression you got from that song. I think we sort of have semi-retired, but we didn't tell anyone, and we forgot to tell ourselves. And we're still here. And we keep forgetting to retire, I think, is our problem. Now, I don't think we really know what's happening one record to the next, but this record, again, I hate to sound redundant here, but there was a really positive experience making this record, and I think it bodes well for the future. So I guess that's about all I can say about that.
There you go, Mark. Thanks for your call. We'll be back in just one moment, so don't you retire. We have more with Geddy Lee coming up on Rockline. And welcome back. We're talking rock and roll on Rockline on the Global Satellite Network. I'm Bob Coburn. We're with Geddy Lee. This song, the next one, closes the CD, Presto, and it will also be our last song for the evening with Geddy. This is Available Light on Rockline. More calls for Geddy Lee. Chris is on the line in Fletcher, North Carolina, a listener of WXRC 95.7 The Rock in Charlotte. And Chris, you're on with Geddy.
Hi, Geddy.
Hi.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Oh, great. This is the greatest thing in my life. I love you guys. You're the best.
Why, thanks.
My question was, on the video for Show of Hands, Alex says something during La Villa Strangiato, and the producer's apology thing comes up.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what that was all about.
Well, that's kind of a joke, but it doesn't seem like many people are getting that joke. Actually, Alex, at certain parts of that song, would just start rambling into the microphone, all kinds of various nonsense. And it actually never got recorded anywhere. So no one had any idea, including him, what he'd actually said. So, but we loved the shot of him just ranting into this microphone. So we decided we would put up this bogus, radioactive warning about the fact that we had, censored what he'd said, and that, we thought we did it in kind of an obvious way that it looked like it was, phony, because we put the radioactivity symbols right on the screen, but nobody seems to be getting that. So that's the explanation. After all this time.
There you go, Chris. Thanks for being on the Rockline. Let's talk now.
He was
babbling, but doing it well, very well.
He's a good babbler.
We're going to talk to Mark now in Carteret, New Jersey. 92.3 K-Rock in New York City is our station there. Hi, Mark.
Geddy.
Hi.
How are you today?
Pretty good.
I really love your music, and I've seen you a number of times live, and I think you guys are great. My question for you tonight is that I know 2112 is out on a CD, but I was wondering if it would be coming out on a high-fidelity CD, such as the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon or Elton John's Yellow Brick Road.
I couldn't tell you that. I have no idea. I didn't know such a thing existed, to be honest. So I don't really know. I couldn't tell you.
There you go, Mark. Thanks for the call, though, sir. Couldn't help you out on that one. Thanks to everybody for listening and calling. Our Rockline address, P.O. Box 4383, Hollywood, California, 90078. Don't forget, Phil Collins will be on in a 2-hour special edition of Rockline Wednesday night, 2 nights from tonight. Then 1 week from tonight, The Grateful Dead with Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir. Then coming up on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, it's the 80s as heard on Rockline. Special thanks tonight to Ray Daniels and Kim Garner of SRO Productions, to Judy LeBeau at Atlantic Records, to Dale Wilson at Telemedia Broadcasting, to Gary Jones of Broadcast News, also to Gary Obie, Brian Dixon, and Rob Enders of Q107 in Toronto, and of course to you, Geddy Lee. And please pass on to the other 2 guys in the band, to Neil and Alex. Can't wait to see you live, and congratulations on a really fine record again.
Thanks very much. It's been great being here once again.
Thanks, Geddy. Always a pleasure to talk with you. I'm BC, and I'll be seeing you in a week. You've been listening to Rockline.